here at Gallaudet University's Kellogg Conference Center for the Office of the Tenant Advocate's first annual Tenant and Tenant Association Summit. Stay tuned for an exciting mix of interviews featuring elected officials, conference sessions, and tenant activists. We're here with Ward 5 Councilmember Harry Thomas at the Office of the Tenant Advocate's first annual Tenant and Tenant Association Summit. Welcome, Councilperson Harris.
Thank you, and I think this is a very good thing for the city to have the first annual. It gives us the sign that it is going to be an annual event. It's a very important event. For me, it's very important for a number of reasons. One, we're facing a very high cost of living in the District of Columbia and keeping people and our residents in their homes. And so we need to give every available opportunity to talk to our tenants, to create programs and connect our programs, whether it is rent control legislation or affordable housing legislation, that really makes sense to give the working men and women an opportunity to live in this city.
What is the most pressing issue you see facing tenants in your ward?
Pressing issue is just basic quality housing. We have so many units that are at a level of disrepair that have people living in conditions, quite frankly, that they shouldn't live in. And so the first thing is to make sure that we have affordable, safe, clean, livable housing and help those tenants who are in those situations. We have situations where people have rodent problems, roach problems, which, as we all know, lend to health indicator problems. And so I think those are the most, sometimes the problems we have are very basic problems that we can solve. And secondly, we have some who in this economic turn try to take advantage of the property values, and who pays the freight are those tenants. And so we need to make sure that we have some of our most vulnerable citizens, especially seniors, not in situations where the rents are going to get to a level that force them out and have nowhere to live.
How has the current financial climate affected tenants in your ward?
Oh, in a tremendous way. One, what happens is this, and I can give you a prime example. Some of our neighborhoods that have a lot of our social service needs have become neighborhoods where we have high rentals. Why? Because we have a large population. In this community we're in right now, which Trinidad, Carver Terrace, Langston, all those communities have a tremendous amount of rental units. The Trinidad community, where we had a lot of issues, has a lot of rentals. And so what happens is we push people out of other neighborhoods. Folks find the last vestige of affordable living are moving into these neighborhoods without adequate services. And so that's one of the issues that we have that creates a lot of social ills, a lot of other issues. We need to make sure that we have the services available for those who are most in need of it in those rental units.
What's being done at the city level to boost up the services?
Well, one of the things, it's interesting you asked that. Today, in my level, we have what's called a 10-point plan of action, where I met with all of my civic and community leaders to look at issues around housing, affordability, the issues around all of those things that we think are not just life maintenance issues. And so we're going to be presenting from our community and looking at the budget to look at whether it's making sure that the units have the proper inspections, the proper kinds of basic service deliveries through the legislative process. And so that's my aspect. From the executive side, we work a lot with DPW, Department of Transportation, and other folks to come in, and of course with DCRA. DCRA has beefed up its enforcement branch, its inspection branch, and so when we have delinquent landlords or folks not doing right, we're going after them to make sure those violations are taken care of. We have a lot of landlords sometimes who also try to find loopholes and file for hardships and other things that they pass on to the tenants while they're not creating the kind of affordable living that you have. And if you look, the conversions of condos and units, even if you look at West Virginia Avenue, we've converged a lot of units with, they have created other opportunities, which changes the price ratio for what people say. So when you bring these new markets on, it affects those who are in the market. And so we got to have a balance, because when you start selling a former rental that rented for $500 a month, and now that unit becomes something for purchase where they're selling it at $180,000, $200,000 per unit in a fourplex, now that starts effectuating the rental rates in the neighborhood. And so those trends can really start forcing other people out until we got to pay. Oh yeah, it can. And especially in situations where there's no rent control protections. So, that's a very, we got to, because then the market is saying a different indicator. When they start marketing these products saying, well, this unit sold for $200,000, that's an indicator that the rents are changing in that community.
What do you say to people that are in those situations? Because if you've been renting and you've been a good renter and you've been paying $500 a month, but then your building is up for sale, you may not have the money to come up to pay the mortgage, to buy it. What do you say to people in that situation?
Most important thing is to know that you have rights. As an Office of Tenant Advocates, know what your rights are, the agencies, whether they're nonprofits or government agencies that can help them. So there are ways we can help you. The other thing I say to them is be informed and be organized. Organize, whether it's a small 4-unit or whatever, because what we tend to find out is many people have the same problem, but they don't talk. So if you're organized and you come as an organized group, there's a process. For example, I just talked to a lady right now where she's paying her rents into the court system in lieu of those services being provided that your landlord should provide to have you in a clean, affordable. So if you know your rights and you're organized, you can improve your living situation.
And I guess the organization is important because if you're faced with a situation where someone wants to come in and buy the building, it makes it easier for tenants if they're already organized.
Absolutely, and you don't want to wait until, one thing about being organized up front, now it's not like a fire sale. Many times when these folks are coming, you're at the end of the game, and by the time you get organized, it's too late. Or you haven't talked to other folks in your building that know the situation, know what you want to do, and so you don't know what they're doing. They may move out, and you're the last one left there fighting, as opposed to all of you fighting to stay there. So it's very important that they are organized, and that's what I'll tell anybody.
Thank you for your leadership. All right. We hope you enjoyed the conference. For more information on the Office of the Tenant Advocate, visit the website www.ota.dc.